Good morning. So I'm not going to use a name because I'm going to put this um, brief talk on both my channels, on my tarot channel as well as my writing channel. So I just wanted to come on. I think I shared, well, I know I shared with my writer's page that my family lost um, a relative a few days ago. My cousin passed away, and she was only 2 years younger than I am, and it's just a devastating thing to experience. Death is never, an easy, even if it's anticipated. You know what I mean? Even if someone goes through an illness that's debilitating and degenerative, it's never easy when it happens. But this was a complete shock. This was the type of death that has left everyone stunned. Like I cry on and off. You know what I mean? I go back to, and work helps me. Work has always been my go-to. I still have children I have to take care of, but then I find myself, and damn the post I put up myself, about missing my cousin and what I loved about her. Because that gets me going. I can't even go and do work on my writer's page without seeing that, because it's in my notifications. It's just, yeah, it's hard. But it also, the thing that death does, it reminds us, right? It gives us a pause. And so part of my pause, like lately, and this is the, all of this came to a head, and this is the purpose of this talk. Lately, I've been feeling really tired, and my children have been running me ragged. And I'm just like, I've been telling them and myself, we can't keep doing this. This is not something that can continue. I remind myself of my age, regardless of so many of us, I shouldn't say all of our, but so many people these days are talking about, oh, I'm doing a glow up, or regardless of my age, I'm going to look young, and things like that. But there are elements to this. That does not mean, you know what I mean, that you just want to be going so hard that you can't take it, that your body can't sustain that effort. I don't know. This is just from my perspective. I don't even know exactly why my cousin passed, or the circumstances surrounding that yet. I'm sure I'll know in the next couple of days. But just for me, her leaving so abruptly brought my own mortality, right? That's what death does for us, especially once you're middle-aged and older. It brings you right smack dab into the reality of your life, into the truth of yourself. That's what death does. And so I wanted to do this talk about transforming our lives on purpose, like deliberately taking care of ourselves in a way that's balanced, not in extremes where now I want to have this, the best life I could ever have, and because I want to have the best life I could ever have, I'm just going to go at everything I pursue full force. I did that for a year. The last year up to this point, I was on that shit. I was hitting everything hard. I took my tarot channel to, right, not just YouTube, but I had to be on TikTok, I had to be on Instagram, I had to put my writing page not just on YouTube, but also on TikTok, also on Instagram. Do you know what I mean? Also stressing and applying for jobs, also writing and putting out new work, also raising children by myself who are teenagers and giving me problems. Okay, I'm talking a little loud because my left ear is clogged. Okay, so I don't know how loud I'm talking. So first I want to start off talking about food, exercise, and rest, that kind of balance. So for me, And I know a lot of people say, oh, you shouldn't pressure people on what they eat. You shouldn't pressure people or try and get in people's business. This is the wonderful thing about life. You can choose what you tap into. You can take what you want and leave what you don't want. Nobody's pressuring, but I'm not going to not put the message out there. Most of you know that I was in a very, I've always been very disciplined when it comes to my diet. My mother, during her pregnancy with me, ate mostly fruits and vegetables. She was the most disciplined at during my pregnancy than she was in her other 6. So she said I was her easiest birth. I came out almost by myself. I was like 6 pounds, 5 ounces, just very solidly normal, not really big, not too small. And throughout my life, my flow has been just as easy. I never liked breakfast. I couldn't eat pancakes. They bothered me. They made me nauseous. They affected me. Anything. I have a very sensitive system when it comes to health. My body responds quickly to the best of foods, to vegetables and fruit and water. My body, no matter what age I've found, excuse me, it responds in a way that I am like vibrant quickly, easily. But when I go opposite of that, that's some shit for my ass, okay? My body lets me know, you're not going to do that. So, but at the same time, if you jump into a program that's so extreme, where you don't have any of your comfort foods or any foods that make you happy. Let's face it, that we all have foods that we're just so happy, we love. You know what I mean? Like for my children, they love my mac and cheese. They love my peach cobbler. Do I let them eat mac and cheese a lot? I don't. I don't make it for them a lot because it's too heavy of a dish. But when they get it, they love it. I don't make them a lot of sweets. But when they get it, they smash it. So it's about having balance in this, even in exercise. So I got my treadmill now. 2 years ago, though, I had done a 14-day fast. I started working out for the first time in probably 12 years. And this is from a lifetime of working out. Like my parents kept us in sports camp every summer. We were active kids. They kicked us out the house in the morning. We didn't, as long as our chores were done, we didn't have to come back until right before dinner. So, but my father pushed us, even when we were playing street sports. You know what I mean? Because he was a star athlete his whole life. He was a coach after that, as a part-time, from his day job. And so he would come out and watch us play kickball in the street and push us. We better not be among the weakest players on nothing. He would put some pressure on us, and then most of the time he wasn't out there. Or he'd buy us a badminton net and paddles and balls, and he would set that up in our driveway. We just were always had that pressure, but to us it was just regular life. So all my life I've been athletic. All my life I've had a workout. If I didn't participate in a sport, I had an actual membership. I would always be on the treadmill. I would always lift weights. I would always walk long distances. My siblings and I always walked fast. My father was 6'2", and he was always thin, and he always walked fast. And he had 6 daughters with my mother and 1 son. He wasn't waiting for you to keep up. Even when we were little, you had to keep up. So we grew up where he treated us like we were little soldiers. He was a Marine. He was a police officer, star athlete, like I said. So discipline was a big thing for him and my mother. My mother came at it from another point of view, but my mother ran. She jogged every day around our neighborhood park. Right after all her pregnancy, she lost her weight because she would go and run. But because I went through some deep shit with, in my motherhood with the person I was married to, um, I went through years of just getting over trauma, of getting over abandonment, being abandoned in my worst time of my life, and the emotional. I mean, ugh, that's hard. That deep emotion, and my only comfort. I didn't have people on my phone. I didn't have a support system. No, I didn't. And so that I got go through that by accomplishment, yes, which is very much from my family, but also I comforted myself with food, just real talk. I did not work out because the work of taking care of my children with no break, no break. If something happened at my children's school, I was there. There was no backup person for me. It was all on me. And that stress, I took it out by eating. And not that I ate excessively, but all my life, all my adult life, from the age of probably 25 through until I started having children at 39, I was eating one meal. I was fasting regularly. I was vegetarian for most of that. Now I'm eating 3 meals with my children, right? Not exercising, except that we would walk long distances always. So I didn't become morbidly obese like so many people are today, and also I didn't get as much rest, because you know how it is, parents. If your child has the flu, you're up. If your child is congested, you're up all night. When they're babies and you have them on that 3-hour schedule, my children didn't wake up randomly and just cry. They didn't just cry when they were infants. They didn't. Because I had them on a 3-hour feeding schedule, changing schedule, right? And they would hit it just like, clockwork. So, but that was still work for me. I still was not getting deep sleep. So that was years of not a lot of rest, right? So that brings about a certain condition physically, mentally, like you're depleted so much easier. And plus I had my children later. We're not even going to talk about all of the effect all of this had. Well, we are. The effect all of this has on you when you're in your middle age or older, right? I'm doing all of this 40. I had my second child at 41 on my 41st birthday. So above 40 and beyond, let's say, right? 40s into my 50s, which is where I'm at now. And I notice the difficulty of managing all of this, the difficulty of even just the desire and the pledge that I'm gonna do a certain thing, that I'm gonna lose a certain amount of weight, that I'm going to have this regimen, have this routine, and be consistent is not what it used to be. It's not, because I got 2 unpredictable teenagers in my house, and they are not routine. They don't show up as the same person every day. Lord have mercy. I wish they did, but they don't. And it affects me, or it's been affecting me. Now I'm taking the resolve, that I'm not going to allow them to throw me off. But let's just deal with food, exercise, and rest. So I'm challenged, and I had a nice person on my writer's Facebook page who offered to be a what do you call it? Accountability partner, and I'm probably going to take him up on it, but I really want to wrap my own mind around getting this shit done and being consistent, because I do it, then I fall off, then I do it, then I don't, then I do it, then I'm wondering why I feel depressed, because I'm trying to do so much, right? In the name of transforming, in the name of being on this wonderful path of enlightenment and growth, and not just falling into the middle age slump of, oh well, it's all downhill from here. No, We should never think that. Unless it's your last day, there's no giving up. But you have to have balance. You have to. Trust and believe. If you try and go at your diet in an extreme manner where you are saying, I'm not going to eat for 12 days, and you haven't even mastered eating one meal a day, or you haven't mastered being deliberate in how much you eat. Because even I have a wonderful friend that I met in New Mexico who has maintained her beauty and size just from portion control. You can even go at it from that point of view, where even if you eat 3 meals a day, if you are just making sure you're not gouging, like if you want a burger, you'll have half a burger. You know what I mean? Just having that kind of strength to do that, and to make sure you're also getting greens. You're also, you know what I mean? You're also drinking a lot of water. That is going to be a healthier approach than saying, I'm just going cold turkey. I'm giving up everything except for spinach. Not that people do that, but there are some extreme diets out here. You are invariably going to crash from that shit. And you're going to, what is it called? Oh, shoot. I hate, this is the thing about being 54. It's like, the brain freeze, but it's the word that has to do with you're going to plunge back into just eating, you know. Yeah, you're just going to gorge yourself on food just after it might even last for 30 days that you're doing this extreme stuff, but without any balance, without any pleasure in it, right? It's just some stark thing that you're doing, a stark effort at, I want to control myself. Okay, you can control yourself without hurting yourself. So, but you do have to control yourself, though. If you want to stay here, this is what I know. I had babies at an age where they test you for abnormalities on a regular because of your age, and you're having children, because the peak ages, of course, are between like probably 20s through mid 30s. Even 35 is, back in my mother's day, they start testing you and being concerned. But my children came out glowing, like their skin was clear. I didn't drink no soda. I didn't drink soda at that time. I was in a very disciplined state. I had a very disciplined diet. I'm doing a talk. Please don't come down. And I was drinking a lot of water. I was eating vegetables regularly. Even if I had, like, I know for my second child, I loved Dunkin' Donuts egg and cheese croissants. But I also was cooking. You know what I mean? So I cooked a lot of beans. I cooked a lot of greens. I would eat mustard greens a lot. You know, smoked turkey in my mustard greens. I didn't eat pork. I wasn't raised on pork. I wasn't eating beef at all. So my children, and they were big babies. They were 8.5 pounds. 8.3 was the second one, and she was born 2 weeks early at 8.3. Okay, but just like no wrinkles in their face, just filled out skin, just plump and beautiful. Beautiful. No stress on their faces, hair. You know what I mean? But it was because of the way I had been for so many years, you know? And then because I had prayed for so long, when I would go into the operating, because I had a cesarean section, so I would go into the operating room. I'm telling you this about balance, about self-management, self-care, okay? When I would go into the operating room, each time, it was too scary. The whole process, getting a needle in my back and shit, that shit. So I was praying constantly. My mother was in awe. She was like, God, you're so, what does she call it? Not tranquil, but you're so peaceful, kind of peaceful, but whatever. She's like, you're so calm. How can you be so calm? And I was like, don't talk to me. I'm focusing, you know. because I didn't want to be in the reality of I can hear them cutting into my flesh. You know what I mean? I want to get my baby out. I don't want to feel anything traumatic. That type of thing. So I was just praying the whole time. But even with my exercise, it's like I was going so hard when I do exercise, like just having such a high standard of I gotta be speed walking because I'm not a jogger. Like I've always been very good at running fast, but not for long distances. But I have three sisters that have all, is it three? Yes. Three sisters that have done marathons, like, you know, the running kind. But I've always been a fast walker. I've always been able to walk long distances, things like that. And so, for me, my ego was saying, well, you're going to have to be like David Goggins, you're going to have to chunk it out. He's like, don't be a punk, you got to go hard. And I want to go hard, but I don't want to go so hard that I'm hurting myself, that I'm killing myself. And so I saw a video this morning because I've been lately seeking balance through how can I accomplish my goals in a way that's not too hard for my age. And not just for my age, like I'm going to settle for some shit and not still be in shape. I do want to get to the point that I'm jogging, but once I meet a certain milestone, in my transformation journey where I'm comfortable running. That's not today. Okay, I do good with speed walking, but she was saying that when you put yourself under stress and she does videos for over 50 a lot. When you put your body under stress, it is stressful. This is going into the next part of this talk about stress management. She was saying it's stressful. You don't even have to be stressed or do stressful things when it comes to cardio, that you are hurting your heart. You are causing stress to your mind and your body. So she said that because there are a lot of people that are doing like walk, therapy where you do so many steps that you actually are losing weight. And she was like, it's true. Now, that doesn't mean you can only do 20 minutes of walking. Some people are so lazy, they'll say, no, if you walk 20 minutes a day, you straight. I don't think so. No, that might help you to get to the point that now you can make it further than your mailbox and shit. But that's not going to get you into a really healthy state. So even though I push myself to do an hour, maybe that's like half of a movie, I really want to get to, push myself further. How can I do that? I don't like that I push myself to walk so fast. You know what I mean? That I know I'm putting stress on myself. That's why I don't want to do it all the time. So she was saying you want to do things in a way that you like it. And there's some other people that I've seen their videos that say choose even when it comes to anything you choose to do, choose things you like to do in a way that's not your easiest excuse me that's not your easiest level, that does push you, but pushes you so that you're enjoying it. You know what I mean? It's like dancing, it's a fun exercise, there's fun to it, you enjoy that. So even when it comes to walking, walk at a pace that's not the slowest. No, definitely not. But like me, I was doing like 3.5 on my speed, which is a pretty good speed. Definitely was getting, the sweat going and all of that. I want to take it down, I think, to like either a 3 or a 2.8. 2.8 would actually be a perfect where I'm getting enough speed in there, but at the same time, I can go longer. Because one thing David Goggins did say when he first lost his weight, when he was trying to qualify for the Marine Corps, and was that he would do the least amount, like a lightweight, but rep it out. So he would do lightweight, but for like hundreds of reps because it's light. And I do that with my resistance training. I do. Although I have, see, this is again doing those extremes. I will use my resistance band that is the most strenuous and still rep out 100 reps. I've never done 100 reps in my life. My reps on weight training machines have usually been like 3 sets of 15 to 20 reps. You know, especially because I would do heavy weight, right? But guess what? It works if you're using less weight or less resistance. You can do so many hundreds and you are ripping your body when you do that. That is going to tighten you up. He said that's why he didn't have a lot of loose skin and things like that. And guess what? It's easier. Like, it is easy. It doesn't hurt me to do 100 squats, 150 squats, because I was doing squats holding a gallon of water in each hand. I told you I'm a little extreme. But I'm silly. But if I'm just doing the squats with my body on my own, yes, I can do 200. That's not hard. You know what I mean? Because what I would do is I would do 20 squats at a time. Easily you get into 100, right? After doing that 5 times, there's your 100. Well, if I do that 10 times, there's my 200. And it's just my body, you know? And then I would do my chest work. I would do my curls. I would do my, I think my lateral. I don't know what the technical thing, but whatever it is, the underside of my arm. I would do my back work. All of those things. I would do 20 reps because the weight wasn't hard. It's not, I just have bands. So it's not like I'm in the gym where I would always got every set. I was adding more weight back in the day, not now. So I'm finding that this is true. These principles of if it's easy, if it gives you enough resistance that yes, you're getting resistance from it. But these days you can find so many people that have workout programs just with your body. Now I'll get there once I'm really, shredded down, and I have more energy and I'm much more athletic about it. I know I will, because that's just how I've always been. But I'm talking about how to get really into your transformation because you're doing it in a balanced way and in a way that is not causing undue stress so that you dropping the ball saying fuck it. And then you don't want to just let it go, so then you getting back up and it's a yo-yo. That's where I'm at. I'm just so that's why I don't want nobody, you know what I mean? It's like I resist anybody trying to come on board because I am. The women in my family is so independent is crazy, but my father wanted us to be that way. And my mother's family, because that was his version of creating us into my mother and her family and her sisters. And but it's true. I like wrapping my head around a thing and doing it myself, because the truth of it is that's the only way it's going to stick. When I did that 14-day fast and I was eating Dr. Sabi type of vegan diet, just alkaline foods, drinking a lot of water, praying a lot, just in a good vibe, right? It was based on my friend that I fell in love with. That didn't work, but it was based on him because that's his diet and that's what he was on. He came into my life, or we reconnected, and it's easy to do with somebody that has had the same diet regimen that you've had most of your life. You automatically click right back into what you used to be. But when you fall out with that person and they're no longer in your life, then it's like, it's like what is it? That Eddie Murphy movie, The Nutty Professor and shit, right? You can wear all the waist trainers you want to wear. What I know is if you haven't mastered that shit yourself, here comes whatever the hell he was, Sherman come right back out. Said, you gotta master it yourself, but do it in a way that it's not so hard, that it's actually enjoyable. Even your diet. If you're not ready to get rid of all meat, just get rid of the worst meat. Damn, how lazy are we if we just can't let go of pork? If we just don't, do you know every illness you could ever have, and you learn it when you get old, they tell you you can't eat pork. You should have very little beef, and if it is beef, it has to be super lean beef. How about don't eat any beef? My children and I, our diet has been mostly turkey their whole life. Like, for real. That's the go-to meat. That's been the meat that we eat, that we have eaten their whole life. So they know the difference when they're eating a turkey burger and a beef burger. And we don't like the fat. It's so heavy. It's so fatty. It's like, it's so greasy. We don't like that feeling in our body. So am I going to take my babies off of turkey burgers? I'm not. Even though I've wanted us to all be vegetarian and vegan, I'm going to make them eat more vegetables than meat, but they're still going to have certain things that they're used to, that they love to eat, and that makes them happy. Okay? Am I going to gouge on a whole pizza? No, I'm not at 54. I don't even like pizza like that much anymore. Like certain things I just naturally gravitate away from. Like I don't even always like to eat meat. The last, 3 days, I've been eating fruit, mostly fruit. And like my genes, on the second day of eating all fruit, I think I had a grilled cheese sandwich, one grilled cheese sandwich each day. And I only ate one meal both days, all 3 days, right? So my jeans were like, I could not even hardly walk up to my daughter's school in those jeans. I looked like I was wearing my father's jeans. You know what I mean? That's how quickly the body responds to just healthier choices and infrequent. You don't need to eat. Once our body grows up, it takes very little food to keep it running. It does. Most of what we do to our bodies, in the fact that we love to just eat this heavy, greasy, meaty, cheesy food all the time, is just habit and addiction. It's an addiction. Now, anything you cannot walk away from is an addiction. Anything you cannot walk away from and say, I don't need that anymore, that doesn't serve me anymore, that clearly that's not good for me, it's a problem. And because my children and like my children only eat 2 meals a day, they don't eat breakfast. But they have an early lunch, their lunch is at 11, and they can have dinner as early as 4 if they want to. But sometimes they don't even want to eat but once. Especially if I've let them have like 2 heavy meals the previous day. Like Friday is pizza night in my family. So if they, which we didn't even do pizza night last night, they'll probably do it tonight. But if they have pizza night and they get their own pizzas, these are teenagers. I buy them their own pizza, whatever kind of pizza they like. They put whatever they want to on it. We don't eat pork, so they get cheese pizza, but sometimes they like cheese in the crust, which is even more cheese than a regular pizza. Oh Lord. And then we'll cook some breakfast turkey sausage or turkey pepperoni, do a meat lovers. My youngest, she only likes cheese on her pizza. That's all. She don't want nothing else on her pizza. But they'll eat the whole pizza. Maybe not in that one sitting. And then maybe they'll also have with it fries. You know what I mean? And then maybe for lunch that day, they also had a turkey burger with some fruit, with a bunch of fruit, because I buy a lot of fruit. The next day, they're not going to want 2 meals. Like we're down to the point that it's what our natural, what we're gravitating toward naturally. The heaviness, they don't. My children are not super skinny, but they're not big at all. And they're very smart. They get on the treadmill too. My baby girl, who used to be my chunker, she would go as fast as me for a longer period of time than her older sister, who's usually the athletic one. So it's, they're really finding, I'm just telling you, for people that think, no, your children have to have breakfast, that's the most important meal of the day, is what we're taught. Well, that was a campaign. I think in the 50s is when that started, for breakfast cereal, popular breakfast cereals. Let's keep it real. And then the popular breakfast cereal had to be accompanied with all this bacon and sausage. And you had a platter of pancakes for the family. And another platter was all sausages and your orange juice. Wondering why, fathers are having heart attacks and shit trying to eat the same as their children that don't even need all of that. When did we need fat the most? Do you know? Do you know that it was when we were babies and it was the fat of breast milk or the milk that we drank? And once the baby was a year old, they had to have that vitamin D milk that had enough fat in it for their brain development. They don't need that. And that's all they drank, though, for the first year. And they were the healthiest. My oldest she contracted a stomach flu at I think it was 4 months old. And she could not keep her milk down. She was back to eating 2 ounces at a time because she would vomit anything else. But because she was so healthy, because she came from such a healthy body, when I took her into the hospital to the doctor, he was like, but she's high. Look how well hydrated. Her skin was shining. She wasn't dehydrated. He was like, it's going to pass. She's fine. She's healthy. She's lost a little bit of weight, but not a lot. She was alert. Her eyes were bright. She was standing up on my lap with the stomach flu. He was like, no, this is a very healthy child. I'm saying that to say you don't need a lot of food to live a vibrant life. You don't. And most of your illnesses would be balanced out if you just controlled how often you ate, what you eat, and what time you eat. You should eat the same time every single day, because that will regulate your stomach. Your brain, our minds, our brains are in charge, not our stomachs. When our stomach growls, that's like a baby having a tantrum because what it's used to getting at a certain time, it's not getting. And so if you put yourself on a regimen where you only eat at 4, which is my goal, that's how I ate most of my adult life. I ate 1 meal a day at 4 o'clock every day at the same time. Never a heavy diet. I had so much energy. People thought I was 20 when I was 30 or younger. I looked like a teenager. I moved like a teenager. I didn't act like a teenager. I had the energy of that. Okay? So I know what works, but I'm dealing with my current struggle of getting myself and my children on a balance. First, getting my children right on a balanced diet, because they like to eat a lot of food that triggers me, and I can't eat anymore. I just can't. I can't. So moving forward, I have to be able to keep them happy, but also teaching them balance, getting them back to balance and health, while putting myself on a regimen that works for me, but still gives me some satisfaction too. All right? So that was stress management, because stress will kill you. One thing I know about, and this has to do with when it comes to people, when it comes to pursuing money, because we all need money. Any religion that tells you you should live humbly, you don't need money, that's a lie, because they always ask it for it. Every religion asks you for donations. So I should have money for myself too, though. I don't care if I live humbly. David Goggins was saying, he's just a guru to me right now, but he lives in a small place. Like, he does not live in some lavish place because he sold so many books, and because people bring him in to train them, and train their company employees, and train, you know what I mean, them for competitions, and come in and do speaking engagements. He's well sought out. He could afford to live very well, but he lives humbly for a reason. It's the same, it's in line with his disciplined mind. And this is one thing I know from my own experience. If you are disciplined in one area of your life, your whole life you are disciplined. If you fall off and are out of control in one area, you're basically out of control. That's just, it's energy. Your energy, you can't, what is it called? Two mindsets cannot occupy the same space at the same time. You cannot be an addict in one area of your life and not be addicted in other areas. You're an addict. What keeps you needing a hit of alcohol, a hit of crack, a hit of meth, a hit of heroin, all you keep, because it's something that keeps you up, it keeps you feeling good, right? You also need that hit in sex. You need that hit in certain foods. You need that hit of energy among people that just boost your ego and don't nobody tell you the truth about you and your life and your effect on others. You keep needing hits because you're addicted. And that's across the board of your life. Once you get clear, once you're in recovery, is when you can tell the truth about yourself. You can tell the truth about what else you don't want in your life. You can actually put your life into a much more stable condition. That's just real. But the stress for, I'm trying to live such a big lifestyle that I have to keep big money coming in. That's not my goal. When I encourage people to live their best life, I am not trying to die for want of all the money in the world. I had to come to that realization because I could have hurt myself. I was just trying, and it was taking away the pleasure. I love doing tarot. I love doing my talks on my writer's channel, but I haven't done it in so long because I'm trying, just trying to do the most. Wondering why jobs are actually, I've not had a job offer, but I'm applying. I'm interviewing more. Still haven't had the right offer. Guess what I came to the realization with this morning? This morning, I had a lot of realizations. Yesterday, I did a lot of crying because I hate that I'm going to miss my cousin. I hate it. I hate it. But one thing I realized this morning is I know what I want to do. For a long time, I thought I was trying to get into university administration. I'm not. At 54, do you know how stressful those, to be a director? Do you know how they have to be everywhere? Not at 54. I'm not trying to start that. That's not what I want to do. I'm so glad I came to that realization because that's one of the jobs I interviewed for was this director of a department, but it was for, oh my God, it was to train the entire campus of staff and faculty on how to make the students want to be, that student retention, professional development. You're teaching people how to treat people. Ooh, I can only imagine that. And you're also training a staff of people who are doing the training. You know what I mean? So that's a lot because a lot of universities have lost money. People are not going to school like they used to. We've been at home. A lot of people haven't been working. We've been unemployed. I am blessed that everything that I am able to do, I can maintain a very humble lifestyle, very cozy, very comfortable, very safe, very clean. But it's small, right? Most people that are used to having a lot don't want that. but this is sustaining me. And I'm not going to die for want of this. I can do this easily. But the work I want to do, that I know I'm probably born to do, which you can tell by my talks because I go so much into everything, is teach. I am a natural professor all my life. I think that's what people used to call me. Even I did, okay, I'm going to share some with you. This is very personal. But in this downward spiral of not being hired, I did a stint where I worked for McDonald's. Even when I was young, I didn't work for McDonald's. I worked for McDonald's during a Christmas season, 3 months, 2 years ago. And that's what they called me, was professor. The main person that called me that was this Chinese man. Asian people and really foreigners, people from other countries, are observers. They watch people and they will tell you who is a quality person and who is not. Sometimes they do have stereotypical thinking about black people, which most people do. That's the great injustice on the planet. The greatest injustice on the planet is how black people are treated by everybody. But this person was like, you are a professor. Because I was always encouraging the young people at McDonald's to go to college, to get a goal, to travel cross country in an RV if they want to, because there was one young man that was a musician and he wanted to do that because these days, it's a wide open field of adventurous living if you want it. I want it to a certain extent. I just don't want to do the driving. If I ever have a husband or a love in my life who likes to drive, we'll do it that way. But when it comes to me and my babies, we're going to be on Amtrak or something. We're going to be flying to get to our adventurous locations. But because I'm not going to do it in a stressful way. That's the point. I'm not going to do it in a way that's stressful to me at this point. I'm not going to take on friends that stress me out. I used to have friends that just wanted me to take care of them because I am the second oldest of 7, and I took care of everybody. I always was taking care. Nobody took care of me. Real talk. I don't care what none of my siblings say. Okay? In a general sense, yes, of course, I got my new clothes. I got to go to sports camp too. That built up my confidence as a girl, as a woman. But I'm saying, you have to know what your truth is, what your walk has been, so that you know what to stay away from, who to keep away from you. I'm not taking on projects. I don't want men that don't know what the fuck they doing with their life. Because you won't care what the fuck you do to my life. I'm not taking on family members that only think about themselves and have always just been looking at how they benefit from me and never consider how I can benefit from them. Hardly ever make it so that I do. And if I do, they gonna brag about it and shit, or they gonna try and, beat me over the head with the shit. Because you finally did something for me for once in my life? No. No toxic. No people that stress me out. No job that's going to stress me out. So that's what I came to. I said this a minute ago. This morning is, I'm taking some of my education off of my resume. I'm taking some of my experience off of my resume because of the effect it has on people. They think that I won't stay in a position, so they won't hire me for certain positions, right? I do want to go back for my MFA in creative writing so that I can teach. And if I need to qualify for tenure by taking a few PhD courses, I'll take that too, But the beautiful thing is that during my MFA, because I'm going to get a fully funded one, is I get to student teach the entire program. I get to student teach. That's teaching experience. I'm going to teach my ass off. I'm going to do it in a way I've never had a professor. You know what I mean? That they probably going to want to hire me for that, for wherever I go to school. That's what I'm talking about. And I'm going to learn how to further promote and build my writing career. Do I want to be famous with my writing? I want to be indie famous. I want to be indie successful. I don't need everybody to know me, but I want to be known in some way. I want my writing to mean something. I want it to be here. I want it to be the legacy I leave. I don't want to just leave and it's like I never existed. You know? Same thing with my tarot channel. I'm still going to do tarot. I fell off this last week. I didn't do any because my children had me stressed out. I'm balancing that now. I'm releasing toxic everything. Everything. No, you don't get to pull on me like you still breastfeeding and shit. You know? No, you don't get to ask me while watching me clean up, while watching me cook for you, while watching me do your laundry. No, you don't get to ask me for more stuff. Mommy, can we get? Can I have? Can I? And you see I'm on the couch totally exhausted. I'm a human being. I had to tell them that. I had to tell them that one day. I'm like, oh, no. Mm-mm. So moving forward, we on a new program. I'm talking from my standpoint. I'm on a new program. That's going to put them on a new program. You know? You have to, I'm choosing to work for now. I'm going to choose something I've probably always done, but just a little, tweak it a little higher. But it'll be easy for me anyway. Even if it's more executive, even if it's more to it, it's still going to be easy because it's the shit I've always done. Or go into something new, but on the entry level so that I get paid well, but it's not going to be stressful because it's entry level. That kind of thing. So I'm taking my master's off. I'm going to make not taking it off. I'm going to make a resume without my master's and without my community service work. Because it just triggers, racially speaking, it triggers racist people, And so I believe people have withheld positions from me because of my activism. So, okay, cool. You don't have to know. Because I need to move forward. And I'm not letting nobody hold me back. I don't let people hold me back. I've accomplished a lot, with all of this on my back and done it well. Now I'm trying to do it more balanced and deliberate. And in a way that I still have happiness, I still have peace, I'm still youthful and energetic, I'm still beautiful and athletic. I want to get out there and have a social life shit. So anyway, that just came out. That's from my soul. So I hope this helps someone. That's why I'm doing it. I'm going to put this on both my channels. As I said, that's why I didn't say this is such and such and this is such and such. Because again, that's time management. I don't got to do 2 damn videos with the same message. Sometimes I do shit like that, knowing I'm going to use the same message for both. Oh man, I'm telling you. I had a job in New Mexico where the person I replaced used to have the director of our department, when she would have she would have that person craft a letter, and then the person would do the corrections, type up the letter, put it on letterhead and all that. But then she would make copies for everyone who was going to receive the letter, and then have the director sign every friggin' copy, plus the original. Crazy as shit. So when I was being trained by this person to take over, I said, well, why don't we have you sign the original and save your hand, and then we'll make copies of that. When she looked at me like I was the 5th coming of Jesus, I was like, this was some airhead shit they were doing. So I'm saying to myself, I got to stop the airhead shit because I'm too old for that. I'm not, excuse me. Yeah, I'm not going to just overwork myself when I'm just like, oh, I don't have to, I don't need to do all of that. You know, and there's some readings from my tarot channel, especially if it's a talk, that's good for my writer's channel. And it has to do with self-care, or it has to do with morality, or it has to do with love. I'm going to start doing it where I don't tell you my name. I'm not doing this for my channel, so I don't need to announce my channel name. Say, welcome to my channel. Welcome to whichever channel you receive this on, Dominus Ominous. Okay? All right. So that's it. That's all I wanted to come on and say. I hope everyone is doing well, is keeping themselves safe from illness, is trying to find a way of living your best life in a balanced way, not from an ego point of view of I've always been so great that I gotta keep this greatness up. No, don't hurt yourself. If you're older, find a way to do everything you love to do in a balanced way. All right? And still be happy. All right. That's all I have to say. I hope you like this video. Let me know in the comments. Please, please, please hit the like button and subscribe to either one of my channel, whichever one you get this from, okay? Peace.